in this industry, it's very heavily regulated. Unlike other sectors, you can't just put out an advertisement. It needs to be checked by legal. Anything on your website, or probably certain things that the customer service team need to say, has to be
Right.
checked by legal, which is good. It protects the customer, but is that also a challenge and
Yeah.
obstacle to providing good CI?
Yeah, I think if you're talking speed to market, certainly putting advertisements, those are heavily vetted because certainly the advertising of especially any type of interest-bearing accounts or financial services products are highly regulated, and therefore there are certain things that need to be included and certain things you can't say in those particular advertisements. And so certainly promotions and advertisements are looked at very heavily by legal. The reality is that the legal aspects of banks, those are certainly important. There's usually some lead time with those, so it's not as difficult. I think where we run into more issues is how effectively can we show to the regulators and other governing bodies the effectiveness of our organization in complying with the existing rules, with the existing laws and the various regulations. And so one of the projects we had started at Truist was to start to use the fact that in a contact center, for example, and really where anything is in chat or email or voice, the transcripts of those interactions are all captured within our core platforms, whether they're voice or, like I said, email, SMS, et cetera. So one of the great things about AI is AI has an extensive ability to be able to read those things, to be able to summarize those things, to determine intent, but also to start to look at which regulations apply to that particular call based on the content of the discussion. And check two things. One, did the agent follow the right process? And two, did they comply with the regulation? And think about the importance of saying, regulators come in and say, okay, let's talk about Reg E. Okay, well, Reg E, here are all the calls we have that we've flagged as Reg E, and here's our percentage of accuracy in terms of process, in terms of adherence, and here are our sample calls, et cetera. The other practical challenge there is if you have certain things that you have to do on every type of a call with a specific regulation, you can begin to start building those data journeys. So think about the AI copilot that then says, oh, this is a Reg E call. I'm going to prompt the agent to make sure they say this. Here's the script for this. If I'm asked to give a specific rate, if I'm asked for a payoff, there's certain language that we have to include with a payoff, and so things like that start to really come into play. The other reality is once you get to that point, you can also start to look more holistically at the effectiveness of your frontline agents. You can start looking at sentiment before, at the beginning of the call, during the call, at the end of the call. You can look at general processes. You can look at upsell, cross-sell, all those types of things suddenly become really, those become embedded within your processes and in mass. And so today it's common to have 3 to 4 calls monitored per agent per month for compliance, one for customer service, one for process, and then somehow there's this matrix of scores. And we would employ hundreds of people to do nothing more than just sit there and listen to those calls and score those from various lenses. Not only does that create enormous efficiency, but to the extent that we can begin to automate those journeys, it creates a better experience for the customer because it's efficient. We don't do any more or any less than we absolutely have to do.